everyone. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you are all having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be discussing 12 Hours in Manhattan by Mon Gabriel. This is a romance. And I know you're probably all kind of sick of hearing me say, well, I don't normally read romances. I really don't. This was an ARC that I received from a publisher, and I was just like, you know what, let me just step out of my comfort zone for a little bit and read it. If I like it, I'll like it. And if I don't, which I wholeheartedly thought I was not going to like it, I wasn't going to like it. I ended up loving this book. I really did love it. My friend Gina was wholeheartedly surprised that she was like, what? Do you like a romance? And I don't just like it. I love it. The reason being is I think Gabriel did a really good job of capturing these characters. So it follows Bianca, and she is a huge fan of Korean dramas. Someone who used to listen to K-pop all the time in college, I completely related to that 100%. So one night in a bar after a failed job interview, I mean, she's really got nothing left to lose. Her house is about to be foreclosed on, and she needs a job, right? She didn't get the job, so she's drowning her sorrows, and in enters Eric, who is a Korean superstar. He is, a Korean drama superstar, and he's just, trying to get away from the pressures of fame for a little bit. But she recognizes him. She's like, holy shit, you're you. And he's like, oh God, a fan. She's like, no, it's like, we can just chat. And they do. They form this really beautiful friendship over 12 hours. And I think the reason being is because neither of them expects to see the other one ever again. So they are completely honest with one another. She shares all of her deepest, darkest secrets. She's just like, well, I'm never going to see you again, so I'm just going to pour my heart out to you. And she does. And he listens. And I think that that's really where that romance starts to begin, because she was kind of lacking that in her life. She has a failed marriage that, started with her being wholeheartedly in love with this man, but unfortunately, his drug addiction just continued to push her away. I mean, I've always said this. You can only push someone so far before they finally just, kind of want to wipe their hands of you. And emotionally, she's kind of checked out of that relationship, as much as she tries to be there for him. But she finally finds this connection with someone who just listens to her without judgment. And I think that was kind of really beautiful. And right when you think they're going to hook up, she says, no, I'm married. I have to go home. That's what a wife does. And it's just like, what? He had no idea. It was a jaw-dropping moment. And that's where you really do find out more about her life and about all the emotional struggles, like the weight on her shoulders, this intensity that she's been carrying with her. I think it's really just thought-provoking for me. For me, it was thought-provoking. It was very emotional to read that. It was very emotional to really get invested in these characters, and to have that bomb drop, I was like, what the hell? It was really emotional. Fast forward 2 years, she finally has a successful job, and they reunite. She's been picked to work on his American show. And it's just like, what? And of course, they finally hook up, but then she decides she's still not emotionally ready and to deal with his life and his lifestyle. As much as she loves him, there's just a lot of factors in play, and he respects that and he lets her go. And I like that Gabriel really focuses on the characters. I love the characters because it makes everything more realistic. It makes everything more thought-provoking. It makes everything more, kind of beautiful, actually, for me. I thought it was beautiful. And what I really appreciated was the fact that she gave Bianca the time to forgive herself and love herself. Because I've always said this, you can't really be in a relationship until you love yourself. As someone who was in that situation in college, I was very, very unhappy with myself. So I broke off all relationships, and I didn't date seriously until I was just like, you know what, I'm at peace with myself. I love myself. I finally got there, and then I met my husband. Perfect timing. And 9 years later, we are still together. But you really can't be in a relationship, I don't think, until you learn to love yourself truly. And I appreciated that Gabriel gave Bianca that time to focus on herself and love herself and grow from that experience so that she can have her happily ever after. And she really does get a happily ever after. I loved it. I loved the ending. I was here for it. It was cute. It was sweet. It was a little heartbreaking at times as well, but I appreciated that there was a lot of storytelling going into this romance. Like I've said, the whole reason I don't read romances a lot is because that romance seems to be that central focus, and you really do let down the characterizations a lot, and there really is no story. It's just, characters jumping each other's bones half the time, and I'm okay. I don't need that. Not really my cup of tea. No judgment to the people who that is your cup of tea. Everyone has different genres. But that's not my cup of tea, and that's why I tend to stay away from romances. So the fact that Gabriel really focused on developing the characters first and then letting the romance blossom after that was really moving. It was very moving and very powerful. So I do have to give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was emotional. It does talk about drug addiction. It does talk about abortion. In case those are going to be triggers for you, I do want you to know that there is mentions of that in the story. But again, for me, it was realistic. It was emotional, and it really did build those character dynamics very, very well. So again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, which I do highly recommend, I will include links in the description below on where to purchase. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this podcast, subscribing to it, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me Coffee, Ko-fi, Patreon, by purchasing one of my handmade candles, or by following any of my social media platforms. Links to everything will be in the description. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.